We did receive some of the calls, indeed, the call centers that were related to suicide, but we had 42 cases that have been recorded that are specifically for suicide. But now there is a slight decrease because, and which we really were happy when you get that, because last year it was 53 in terms of those that we received on the day, which is the New Year's Eve, by the way. So at least we are saying at least there's an attempt that they are going down. Besides that, other cases were on trauma cases, on medical, on accidents, as we indicated lastly. But it was a number that we picked it up even on that day, that there are these calls that are specifically dealing with suicide attempts. But again, what we are doing now, because we are working very closely with other NGOs, like your South African Depression and Anxiety Group. They are assisting us, and they were indicating that 23 suicide cases were recorded per day, in some cases on their stats that they are giving us, and 230 serious attempts are in South Africa. So it's just the overall amount that they were giving us here.
230 serious attempts is quite a number, MEC. What socio-economic factors do you believe contributes to this plight of suicides and attempts?
Part of the issues is mental disorder, it's financial problems that people are experiencing, and trauma-related experiences such as rape and other accidents that happened. Some of those, because it's young people, it's failure of those kids on the exams, and that's another thing that has been contributing.
And I just wanted to ask, I mean, you mentioned the young kids. Did you see within that number of 42 that was recorded, is it mainly the younger generation or those that are much older?
Indeed, there is a younger generation that are there, that have been there, because there's a recent case that I was indicating even yesterday of a 14-year-old that was in Ga-Rankuwa that was attempting. So quite a number of them that have these attempts, and then sometimes we are able to assist them in the hospitals and in the communities where they are. So young people, indeed, they are involved, which means we need to work very closely with the Department of Social Development and Department of Education in ensuring that some of these things we are able to deal with them immediately.
What would you highlight as your department's challenges in averting and assisting those, especially when it comes to the scourge of suicides and the attempts of suicide?
As a department, we have been working very closely with, collaborating with the Department of Social Development. We have an integrated intervention that we're coming up with. In fact, we will, even during this January now, on the Back to School campaign, we will still be talking about some of the interventions that we need to do with our colleagues. Because the challenge, again, that we have picked it up is the teenage pregnancy. That is becoming another problem, that when these children are involved in those things, we need to support them so that they don't end up killing themselves because of the frustrations that they are having. Even today, we are having a discussion document that will be presented to me that is going to talk on some of the areas that we need to look into and present that document to the colleagues in the department and in the Department of Social Development. So we're working very closely with the Department of Social Development because we believe that will help us as a department too.
I mean, MEC, you speak of collaborations with NGOs, the Department of Social Development, as well as SADC. Are there facilities that people in Gauteng can actually go to beyond calling the call center if they are in need of such help?
At the moment, I think we'll forward that information to you of which areas that the Department of Social Development is having those facilities on their side. On us, you can just go to any of our healthcare centers, even in the hospital or in our clinics. We are able to accommodate you when you come there in terms of having a social worker that is there that will talk to you. In every hospital, we have a social worker that is there. But again, we have established youth zones in our communities. So those youth zones, we find young people that are able to talk to those that are young and address them and support them, because it's more about supporting each other that we are emphasizing to the colleagues that are operating at the youth centers and youth zones that we have established as a department.